Hello, 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 and welcome to my podcast, Life with Jode, where we talk about anything and everything. On today's episode, we're speaking to Corey, who is from Texas, USA. He is coming on to talk to us about his experience of a gastric sleeve surgery over in his hometown. I have been online friends with Corey for quite a while. We found each other on TikTok and now we support each other on both TikTok and Instagram. I have followed his journey for the past half a year, I want to say. And he is one of my biggest supporters on the online bariatric community. So let's get into it and let's welcome Corey.
My name is Corey. I live in Texas. I lost 133 pounds with the vertical sleeve gastric surgery. So I had it in, August 28th of 2023. So I think I'm doing pretty good.
Do you want to just give everyone like your handles on social media, just so if they want to go check you out, they can do?
Yeah, it's the same on Instagram and TikTok. It's at Corey VSG Success.
Perfect. What do you do for a living? Obviously, don't need to go too much into it, but just...
That's all right. I'm a survey manager for a construction company, so I build 3D models for the machines to use and guide survey crews on roadway construction.
How long have you done that for?
21 years.
Do you still enjoy it?
I do.
Good. What made you decide to have weight loss surgery in the first place?
Health issues. I was on 5 different blood pressure medicines. I have an aortic aneurysm coming out of the top of my heart. So I was on five different pills, and I didn't want to live the rest of my life taking pills. So I had to do something to turn my life around and get healthy. I tried the Atkins, I tried the Weight Watchers, I tried the keto, and then my doctor put me on Ozempic, and so I was taking the shot, and it messed with my stomach real bad. I was having real bad, diarrhea. I was throwing up all the time, so it wasn't for me. So that was kind of like my last option was the surgery.
What made you choose a sleeve over a bypass, or were you not able to kind of like have the option? Or
no, I sat down and talked about it with my bariatric surgeon, and that was kind of the best route that she saw fit. We kind of talked about the different options. She didn't like the lap band, and then I guess for bypass, she said that was more extreme, and the sleeve was less invasive, and I'm kind of a weenie, so I didn't want, a big surgery.
obviously your weight, the reason why you had your weight loss surgery was due to your health issues. How did it start affecting your day-to-day once you had your weight loss surgery? Obviously, did things get better, or did it take its toll at first and then start getting better at all?
No, it was kind of better from the start. Once you get over the soreness from the surgery, probably a week later, I was back in the office at work, and it just started melting away, like for the first 6 months, and then it got harder to lose after that, and then now 18 months out, I'm kind of stalled out. I think I'm at my lowest point, but everything like got better like all at once and within a 6-month period, it seems. I got rid of all but one medicine, so I'm only on one pill right now, and we think I might be able to get off of that here in another couple months. So
That's great to
everything
hear.
got better.
Are you kind of like at the goal weight you want to be, or there was an opportunity to lose more weight, would you want to do that, or are you happy with where you are now? Or
I think our goals change, right, as we go, because in the beginning I weighed 353 pounds, and I said if I got to 250 I would be happy, but I got to 250 and I wasn't. So my next goal was 220, and I'm 1 pound away from that, and now that I'm looking at being that close, I'm thinking more like 205 to 210 would be great. And I think, I just incorporated walking and more exercise. And I feel if I continue to stay in my calorie deficit, I might be able to achieve that here in a couple more months.
How did your relationship dynamics change after weight loss surgery? Kind of like, so with me and some other people that I know, my close friends kind of like started dwindling away because they didn't either like the surgery itself or didn't like the fact that I was starting to get confident and no longer the quote unquote fat friend. Obviously, some people still have their friends. Other people have gained friends from the community. How has that gone for you? Has anything changed in that aspect?
Um, well, my best friend that I've had for probably 40 years, he had the gastric bypass like 3 years before I had my sleeve. So I kind of leaned on him a lot during this whole process, even though the surgeries were different. There are some similarities. So me and him kind of shrank at the same time. He lost a lot more than I did, of course. My circle was always really small anyway, and so the friends that I had pretty much stayed the same, and they're all proud of me and proud of my success. And I don't know, I never really had a big group of friends. I've never been one to really go out and do that. I have a very small, tight knit friend community, and I've gained some friendships on TikTok and Instagram, not in person, of course, just
Yeah.
through here, like you. I keep in contact with a few of y'all, and it, I don't know. It's cool to get a community like that and get support like that.
I feel like if I hadn't had the support from other people in the community and have had the same surgery or the same situations that happen, I feel like I would might have lost my mind a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
How about like your partner? What is she
She's
stood by you? Did she have an opinion? Did she just say do what's best for you? Or
No, she was all for it. She's obviously worried about my health too. We've been married for 28 years, so she's in it for the long haul. So she's worried about my health too. So she was all for it, and she's happy with it. And now she's taken the shot, and the shot is actually working for her. So her eating style changed to my eating style. So she's been supportive that way. She doesn't eat junk around me, and so we eat the same. So she's been on her own little weight loss journey, and she's doing real good with it. Of course, it's slower because she didn't have this tool of the sleeve, but she's still dropping, and we're supporting each other. We come home from work, we work out together for 30 to 45 minutes, and we cook and eat together, and it's a great thing. I think it helped a lot.
what about kind of like the workplace? Did anyone at work kind of like say anything? Because I know sometimes when I had my surgery and I came back after, I think I had a little bit more time off. I had about 2 weeks off or something like that. I went back and they were like, "Why did you have that surgery? You don't need that surgery." And it was a bit of one of them like, "I didn't do it for you. I did it for me," type of thing. Did you have any comments like that at all, or was your workplace quite?
No, I didn't really have that. I mean, before that, there was a couple of guys in the office. We work construction, so it's a lot of guy talk and a lot of crew talk. But before my surgery, there's always a lot of fat jokes that go around, and so you play it off and you play into it. When you're a big person, like it doesn't affect you, but deep down it really does. But you play into it and joke about it, and so that was kind of an extra motivation. And then now, after my surgery, if they start making fat jokes about somebody else, I kind of steer the conversation to another way because I know how that person feels. It really does hit you down deep inside. It just, we just play it off when we're big, like, so I try to steer the jokes in a different direction and try to get it away from those.
A milestone for you with weight loss surgery is coming off certain medication and stuff like that. Have you had any other like milestones, whether this be kind of like the actual weight that you see or clothes sizes, or a lot of people go on aeroplanes and see how far the seatbelt comes out and you're just like oh my god, like it's actually working. Is anything like that happen for you at all?
Oh yeah, all the time. I mean, we flew to Seattle not that long ago, so and not having to ask for that belt extender was huge, you know, because it was always embarrassing to ask for it, but not having to do that, and my clothing sizes, you know, you get to wear the stylish stuff now. You don't have to go to the big section and suffer because there's no real style for big people. So now you can pretty much grab anything off the rack, and it's awesome. So when I first started losing, you know, I started throwing a lot of stuff away or donating a lot of clothes, and so I didn't have much. And then now my closet's starting to fill back up because we go to the store and I'm like, hey, I can wear that now. Let's buy it. You know, so it's a cool feeling to be able to just grab anything off the rack and actually have style again. You know, and not have to wear, you know, whatever is available.
Has your style changed at all?
It's pretty much my whole life's pretty much been the same. It's country and western wear. You know, I always wear blue jeans and a button up shirt. But as a big person, they don't have stylish button up shirts. You know, I like to wear like the wild stuff, the paisley shirts and the weird designs and stuff like that. They don't do that for big people. It's all like black shirts or white shirts or, you know, just solid colors. And so I'm able to get back to wearing the cool stuff again. It's exciting. I like it.
What kind of food do you eat now? So a lot has changed with my eating habits. I used to be a very plain Jane, chicken nuggets, pizza, all that. And then now I think it's helped a lot with my partner as well because he has a bit of more of a expensive taste. Um, so that's kind of like introduced me to new things, but also my taste buds changed after surgery. So I'm eating a lot more fish. I suddenly like tuna. Has that happened for you? What kind of stuff do you introduce into your diet?
Yeah, that's kind of the same with me. I used to, you know, we used to order out all the time or go grab fast food all the time. Pizza, you know, chicken nuggets and burgers and a bunch of crap, but once you once you have the surgery, you know, obviously you can't fit as much, so you don't want to waste as much money by going out to fast food and buying a $10 meal because you're not going to eat $10 worth of food anymore. So I focus mainly on protein. So, you know, I have tuna packets that I'll eat. I meal prep every Sunday is usually cottage cheese with some chicken and I measure it all out, you know, per serving. So I get my exact, I still track my calories on my phone, even though I feel like I don't have to, but I do. It's a habit. It's a lot of protein first, and I know I should be eating more vegetables for the fiber, but I try to fill the space with as much protein as I can. So it's a lot of fish and chicken and steak. I, the only thing that I found that I can't have anymore is bacon, and that really sucks because I loved bacon, but bacon makes me really queasy now for some reason. So that's about the only thing that I can't eat anymore that I used to. But every once in a while, we'll still grab some chicken nuggets, or you know, I'll get a kids meal hamburger and just take off the top bun, so I don't get like too many carbs. But you know, we still splurge every now and then. But I just try to
You've
focus on
got
that
to. You,
protein.
you can't always live your life kind of like living by,
Yeah,
chicken and rice type of thing. You've got to have, like, me and my partner, we splurge and we get whatever, or we go out for a meal to like Nando's, and um I'll always, instead of wasting money, like you said, I'll get a kids meal. Like, I always have the chips. You can't go to like McDonald's and not have chips because they're
yeah,
just the best. They're honestly the best thing in the world. But I just stay away from how much I have. You can't live your life kind of like just being always healthy. You've got to splurge a little bit. It's like the other day I was really fancying like a sweet breakfast, so I made myself a healthy version of pancakes so
okay,
that I'd still get that sweet, I still get the pancakey texture, but I also have like the protein as well because I did banana protein pancakes. I enjoy finding variations of food that I used to love, but
yes,
making it a healthier version of it for yourself. What intrigues me is kind of like if there is any difference between the UK and the US, or should I say Turkey and the US, because I flew to Turkey to have my surgery.
yeah.
Would you be able to kind of like walk me through pre-op, during, and post-op, and kind of like how everything went for you? And
Yeah, so from the beginning here, I had to do like 3 appointments with my bariatric surgeon within a month apart. I had to have a psychiatric evaluation, and I had to see a dietitian 3 times, all before I could get approved for the surgery. And then with my aortic aneurysm, I had to go through a cardiologist as well to get approved, to make sure that I would survive the surgery. So after all of that, it probably took 3 months to go through all of that. And then I finally got approved, and it was pretty quick. I got in, we did our surgery. That night, I was up walking around the hospital, to try to get rid of that gas pain that's in there. So I was walking like every 30 minutes, and then went home the very next day. I probably sat on my couch for the whole next day because it hurt so bad just to get up, from all the incisions. So I didn't move very much that next day. And then it was, it all just, to me, it happened all just real quick. It was so fast. And, within a week, I was going back to work and going back to the office. And then, it sucks right afterwards because I work in a construction office, so they order lunch, they cater lunch like every Friday, so they bring in all this food. And when you're in those different stages, your soft foods and your pureed and your liquid only, and everybody's eating all this barbecue and all these tacos and tamales, and you can't, so you're just smelling it in the office all day, and it's so miserable. But it was all totally worth it. So it all just happened so fast. To me, it was like a blur. It was just fast.
I completely agree with that one. For me, because I went to Turkey, it was a case of my BMI had to be over a certain amount. My weight had to fit in the bracket, over the bracket that it needed to be, and I had to be completely honest with any health issues, but I'm quite lucky and I don't have many or any health issues. And then I flew out the day before. When I landed there that night, they took me in for all my pre-op. I was, I think, the second in surgery that morning, which I was quite thankful for because I didn't want to have to wait around and be like, I'm starving. When can I have food?
Yeah.
And then, because I had a bypass, I was a little bit longer than the girl next door that I made friends with because she had a sleeve. Everything went fine. I did have I want to say it's a catheter so that you can wee.
Yes.
I think that's the word. I can't remember the terminology for anything. And I just remember they wanted me to get up and walk, but it was so uncomfortable. I ended up kind of like going really dizzy and had to get into a wheelchair back to my bed. And they were like, we're going to leave you another hour or two and then we'll try again. Obviously, I was in Turkey. I had to stay there for, I think it was 5 or 6 nights, so that they could obviously watch over me and make sure that my incisions were healing and everything was looking good. I was very thankful for that, though, to be fair, because I was in a lot of pain for the first couple of days. The gas pain was real. All in like my shoulders and my chest. It was horrible. And then when you found a comfortable spot, it'd start again and you'd be like, oh, just so tired, leave me alone. And then they kind of like let you loose with all your documents going, here's your diet plan inside of it, enjoy, good luck, we're here if you need anything. So for me with the post-op, it was 2 weeks liquids, 2 weeks purees, 2 weeks soft food, and then it was kind of like introduce as you go.
I think the first thing that I ate was scrambled eggs, which I think is pretty much everybody's go-to, right off the bat to test.
Did you ever get the egg ick where you
just
looked at the egg and was like, no?
No, I see that a lot, and I think you did a video on that too. I've seen a lot of videos on that. That's not something I ever experienced, was the egg ick. I can do eggs all the time. Hard-boiled eggs, I do them all the time, or scrambled eggs. I don't know. I've never gotten it. I started introducing like some ground beef and shredded chicken, everything just slowly until I got to bacon. Like I said, bacon. That breaks my heart because I used to love bacon, but it makes me so sick. You do test yourself from time to time. Like we had glazed donuts at the office, and I took a bite of a glazed donut, and I had to run to the bathroom and throw it right back up. It was just too much sugar, but you do test yourself, and you got to see, just see what you can do. And those are the only 2 problems that I've ever really had with pushing myself So I do learn to take it a lot easier. And I just know that sugar is not my friend right now. So
Do you still treat yourself every once in a while to something sugary?
yeah, I like dark chocolate, so I'll just get a dark chocolate bar and just break off a couple of squares and just suck on it, and that's good. Or we have frozen Greek yogurt bars, so a chocolate. It's like chocolate ice cream, but it's Greek yogurt. So the calories and sugar are way low, but you still get that chocolate flavor. So and it's like having an ice cream. So you find the things that you can cheat with and still enjoy, so you're not totally miserable. You know. But yeah, things like that, or the PB2 peanut butter powder. I'll throw that in some plain Greek yogurt and mix it up, and then I will sprinkle in like a couple of the chocolate chips, the little morsels you can throw in there, and so that's a nice little treat sometimes too.
How was Christmas for you?
It,
Do
it
you
was
do you
great.
guys kind of like do Christmas or do you do Thanksgiving?
We mostly do all our cooking on Thanksgiving. It used to be, well, okay, typically, it's a turkey for Thanksgiving and then a ham for Christmas around here. But my wife's not a big turkey fan, and it's a little bit dry for me now. So we did a ham on both, which I don't mind because I'll take the ham bone and throw it in the crock pot with some pinto beans and just make some really nice ham and beans afterwards. So that, and then of course deviled eggs. You with the egg yolk, I love deviled eggs. I could eat those nonstop. So it was pretty easy. I just make a smaller plate and I just get like one scoop of everything. I didn't avoid anything. I still had the stuffing and the sweet potatoes. I still ate something, a little bit of everything. I don't want to deprive myself. I don't want to stop eating everything. So I tried everything, and everything sat well. It was all good.
So this was the first year in our house together. So we ended up having Christmas here alone, just us two, which was really nice. And we bought a turkey. I slow cooked that. I wouldn't do it again. It was, like you said, it was really dry.
Yeah.
So I think next year we're probably going to do like a chicken. Also, it's not going to be as much. We was literally living off that turkey for the full week after Christmas. Are you thinking about any plastic surgery?
Yeah, I'm not really bothered about it. I mean, I have some on my thighs that I didn't think I would have because I never thought my legs were that big. But on my upper thighs, I got some loose skin, and then of course I get some. You get the bat wings, they call them down there. And then of course there's some in the belly, but I don't know. I don't really go around shirtless for anybody else to see. So you know, I don't really care. Even when we go, well, probably because I was bigger. Anytime we go to the pool or go swimming, I'd always wear a shirt. But which is crazy because I have tattoos all over the place. So you'd think I'd want to show them off. I've never really thought about it. It's not really. It doesn't bother me that much.
Any advice you want to give to anyone that is going to have weight loss surgery, whether that be people in the US or just anyone in general? Is there anything that you'd probably suggest to do or kind of like learn to do?
No, I mean, it's weird because I did a commercial for my bariatric surgeon, and they asked me the same thing, and it's kind of hard to pinpoint, any specific advice other than just do it, I mean, and if you have questions or have reservations, you just reach out to somebody about that specific question because it's kind of hard to generalize any kind of advice because different people are looking for different things. So it's if you go to my page and you look through some of my videos, I talk about a lot of different things. I'm pretty open. I talk about the things like I used to be. Every single morning I would be a regular pooper. I'd poop every single morning back then, but now I think because I put less in, I only go like every 3 or 4 days now. It's kind of normal for me now. I don't go every day. And I think it's because I put less food in.
I wish I could be you. Literally. So every morning I get up at 10 to 4. I brush my teeth, do the business, come in here, do my makeup, go downstairs at about 4:30. I will sit with a coffee next to the radiator while I'm trying to warm up. And then so I start work at 5. I live literally 5 minutes down the road from my job, but I still drive to work because it's easier. and at about 4:45, I'll be sat there going, I need a poo. And if I don't go now, I'm either not going to make it to work, or I'm going to be sat on the toilet for a while at work. And their toilets, the flush is rubbish.
Oh,
I've experienced that firsthand, unfortunately. So I was like, I'll quickly do it here. So I'll be sat on the toilet. It's 5:02. I need to be at work at 5. I'll be like, am I going to make it? Am I not? Who knows? Now, literally, work have gotten used to me being about 5-10 minutes late every morning. They have stopped asking me why.
yeah.
But yeah, I really wish I could be you. But I poop on a regular basis, near enough every morning, like
Mine,
clockwork.
before surgery, it was every single morning, right after my coffee. I would do my business, and then I would have a great day. It was every morning. But now it's like every 3 to 4 days, and it's whenever my body tells me it's time. So it doesn't matter what we're doing. If I feel it, I got to find a bathroom right now because it's coming. So
It was like the other day I had really bad belly ache, and then I was like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna go to the toilet. And then I messaged my partner because we tell each other everything. I was like, I'm so glad I didn't trust that far. And he's there like, for God's sake, Jodie. I was like, oh well. I feel nice and refreshed now. But yeah, you gotta love just being so open and honest with people, because
yeah,
when I was bigger, I would never have turned and go, yeah, I was having a poo. I'd be
yeah,
really embarrassed. But now I'm just there like, I really don't care. It's a natural cycle. It's a bodily function. It is
yeah.
what it is.
Like I said, I'm pretty much an open book on my stuff. You've seen I did a video on sex life. I think sex life for me is a lot better since surgery. I don't know if that's because I'm gaining self confidence, or I don't know if it does anything with your hormones or whatever, but I think it's great. Your whole life, I think, gets better afterwards. And there are some of the bad cases where bad things do happen, and you know, those are few and far between, and you can't let those kind of things scare you, because every journey is different. We can't compare ourselves to anybody else's journey. Mine has been wonderful for the most part. I've had a couple of hiccups here and there, but I would definitely do it all over again if I had to. But I'm not going to let myself get back to that stage where I need it, a revision or anything. So, and that's another thing you hear. People are scared about gaining the weight back, and I think that's a personal choice to let yourself get back to big. If you start eating back in your old habits, of course you're going to get back that way. I think it's all self-control, and it's stuff that you learn in the beginning of your journey that you need to carry on through the rest of your life. It's not just okay, it's been 2 years, I lost 140 pounds or whatever, and now I can go back to my old lifestyle. I'm going to order a big pizza. No, you can't do those kind of things. You have to. It's life changing, but it's for the rest of your life. It's not a temporary thing.
Do you have the days where you can eat 10, like, so let's say 10 times more than your normal daily, and then 2 days later you'll be there like, okay, I can't eat anything at all, I'm going to be sick?
Yeah, it seems I get that all the time. I mean, some days I take a lunchbox to work, so I bring my meal prep lunch, and I'll bring like 2 cheese sticks, and I'll bring a little bag of nuts. And then, some days I don't finish it. And some days I need to run to the convenience store and buy more because I'm still, that just didn't do it. I try to time myself to eat something every 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours. But sometimes it's just not enough. Sometimes I need something every 1 or 2 hours. So, it's just, and that's another thing with, letting yourself gain your weight back is the choices you make on those snacks. I think it's okay to eat that often. It's just a matter of what you choose to put in.
I was saying the other day to someone, instead of going straight for the chocolate bar, go for fruit, because then you're obviously getting the healthy version of the sweet thing. But then if you are still craving that chocolate bar, if it's a small chocolate bar, let's say if it's a Kit Kat, snap it in half, have one piece now and one piece later, or another day. And
Right.
it always portion control as well. I always try to prioritize protein, then veg, then carbs. And I
Hmm.
have one of them plates where it's kind of like protein, carbs, veg.
That's funny that you have that plate because I have that plate too, and it seems like every bariatric patient I've talked to has that plate. You know, I think we all ordered that plate. You know, right when we got out of surgery because I have the same one. It's got your meat, your protein, your carbs.
It took me, well, to be fair, I was like, oh yeah, it's fine. I'm not going to order that. And then I was just there like plating up on a normal regular side dish. And I was just there like, no, we need to order one.
Yeah, I think it depends on what we have. Like last night, we had I had steak and mashed cauliflower, so it was only two things, so I didn't need that plate. But you know, if I would have thrown in like green beans or peas or corn or something, then I might have broke out that plate because I had three different things. So
If you do a pasta dish, just
yeah,
put it in a bowl.
yeah,
The
you
plate's
don't need
fine. You don't need the plate. But if it's like a little roast dinner type of thing with chicken, a bit of veg, potatoes, and then maybe some like stuffing,
yeah,
just chuck it on there. Chuck it on the plate. Portion it out.
yeah,
Pretend that the stuffing is part of your protein and just chuck it with your protein. It's all good.
yeah. Put it on the same bite, and it's good. It's good.
Have you found your confidence has grown a lot since surgery? Is there stuff that you have done that you would never have thought of doing beforehand?
Uh, well, yeah. I mean, wait. I signed us up for a 5K, so we're going to do a 5K. I would not have done that when I was 353 pounds. There's no way. My confidence is definitely bigger. I walk more upright, you know, and I take more pride in myself, you know, because I'm not that big guy. So you know, I do walk around, you know, with my chest bowed out a little bit, you know, like you know, yeah, I'm a badass kind of deal, you know. So I think my confidence has gotten there. I tell my wife I have a little more swagger, you know. So I just feel better about myself. So you know, I want everybody to know it, I guess. So
So I did was it a 5K or a 10K? I don't know. It was one in my city. This was in the September of 23, and my surgery was in the February of 24. So it was like what, 4 months, 5 months before my surgery, and it was probably at the point of one of my highest weights I'd ever been, and I was one of the slowest out of the groups, which is what it is.
yeah.
But I jogged and walked. Is there a plan for you? What are you going to be doing? Are you going to try and jog it all? Are you going to try and walk it all?
I think it depends on who goes with me. I mean, I signed my wife up with me, so if it's just me and her, then I'll walk at her pace and we'll walk it together. But I have a very competitive son, and he's 28. He's fixing to be 28. So if he decides to do it with me, I have a feeling we're both going to jog it and try to outdo each other on that one. So, but if it's just me and her, I think we're going to walk it just because it's our very first one. But I definitely want to start doing more because I walk at home on my walking pad and I do, you know, between 3 to 6 miles almost daily. So, you know, a 5K is a little over 3 miles. So it's kind of the same thing. But I want to start doing these because you get out and about, you know, and you're able to, you know, you'll meet people and you just see different things. It's not just a treadmill in the house. So I'm kind of looking forward to it.
The coccyx bone, when you sit down for a certain amount of time, my
Yes.
ass kills.
I had to buy a pillow. You know, they sell those pillows with the back cut out, you know, for your tailbone to sit in. So I had to buy one of those for work because I sit in an office all day. So I had to buy that pillow for my tailbone.
I might have to invest in that, to be fair. I think I need to like introduce like yoga or something into my exercise just to, you know, like stretch it all out and see if that helps. But
Yeah, something.
yeah, no. Exercise isn't for me, even though I've lost all this weight. I'm like, yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah, I just started exercising probably a month and a half ago, you know, and I'm 18 months into my surgery. I just started doing it. So I think I'm trying to
What
get that extra push so I can lose that extra 5 pounds. So,
do
hey,
you do B12 injections?
I do not. I know a lot of people do, but I don't really feel the need. I mean, I have plenty of energy, so I don't think I need it.
Were you advised to kind of like have it at all? Because in the UK and with Turkey, they advise you from having your surgery every 3 months after that, you have B12, even if you're not deficient in it. You kind of like it's a thing that you're gonna have forever. Was it ever brought up to you that you should have it every 3 months, or just if you need
No,
it?
no. She's she never really. My surgeon never really brought it up. And even after my 1 year blood work panel, I everything was so good that she took me. I see a lot of bariatric patients have to take a ton of vitamins. They take 5, 6, 7 different vitamins a day. But my surgeon has me on a like a vitamin D pill once a week, and then just like a men's one a day general vitamin is all I really have to take. So my blood work came back really, really good. I wasn't deficient in anything except vitamin D.
I feel like everyone's deficient in vitamin D. So am I, but I live in the UK and there's no sun anyway, so that's probably the reason as to why I'm lacking in it. I also do collagen powder in my coffee, for the skin, hair, and nails. Have
Yeah.
you ever tried any collagen or anything?
No,
No.
no. I do add benefiber into my coffee every morning because I was worried for the longest time that because I don't poop for 3 or 4 days, I thought that was a problem. So I was taking benefiber, and now it's just a habit, just to try to stay regular. But I haven't tried the collagen or the biotin. I haven't really worried about any hair loss. My skin is good. I'm a guy. I really don't care about hair loss, so it doesn't bother me. I'll be bald one day eventually.
I'm extremely open and honest with people now. It's I found myself to have a new confidence. I wouldn't say that I am like up myself or anything. It's just being confident, and
Yeah.
I found like I used to want to people please everyone so much when I was a bigger person because I wanted to have a friend or have a decent relationship with a family member and stuff like that. And now I'm happy in my own company. As long
Yes.
as me and my partner were happy, everyone else can just sit and swivel basically because
Yeah.
I'm not gonna bend over backwards for people anymore. And I've finally learned that even if you are big or small, no matter what you do, they're gonna have an issue. So
Yep.
I've just kind of like come to the conclusion it is what it is.
Yeah, I think that's something unique that as bariatric patients, that we go through because we've lived life as a big person and we've dealt with that criticism and and those jokes and and all that lifestyle, and then we become this way, and then now we get criticism for having the surgery or I've kind of learned what skinny privilege is. I get treated better by strangers now that I look like this than when I was big. So I think we get to see both sides of the coin. So I think now, yeah, it's not a big headed thing. It's just a confidence thing, and we just don't
Yeah.
care anymore. And then the embarrassing things you go through the surgery. How many people have seen me butt naked, on the table getting my surgery. There were people in that room that and they had me take my underwear off and everything. So I was, sprawled out butt naked getting a surgery. So, I mean, there's no shame in anything. Everything's been out there. So, I don't mind sharing any bit of whatever now because, I've seen both sides of the coin, the big life, the smaller life, and, everybody, the doctors and nurses, everybody's seen me in all my glory, and, there's nothing to be ashamed of anymore because we've been through it all. And now we just, we have a new confidence, and we don't need to make everybody happy anymore. We're learning ourselves what it's like to make ourselves happy, and that's the important part is us being happy.
It was lovely to finally speak to you properly and not just
Yeah, you
through
too.
God knows what TikTok lives and just TikTok videos itself. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. It is my afternoon now. I'm going to warm myself up because my hands are freezing cold, even though I'm sat right next to a radiator that doesn't seem to want to work properly.
It's that bariatric burr, man. It's real. I'm telling you.
It is real. I've been waiting for this for ages. It's been lovely, 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 love. Oh, freaking hellfire! I think I
Spit it out
might
there.
either need a coffee or a nap.
Thank you
See you
so much.
later.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye. If you have a story to share, big or small, please don't hesitate to get in contact with me via email, lifewithjode@gmail.com, or you can message me on my socials, which is @_lifewithjode_ or @Jode's Gastric Bypass. These will be linked below. You can listen to my podcast on Podbean, Apple Music, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. I also do a video version over on my YouTube channel. And that's a wrap from me. I'll see you next time on another episode of Life with Jode. Bye!